All right, I want to thank Bob Rossini, the operator of Purple Elephant Car Wash in Torrington, Connecticut. Thanks for joining us today, Bob, on the EverWash podcast. How you
Hey,
doing
good
today?
morning, Max. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. So, we're talking to wash operators about the incredible record-breaking year that we've been seeing across the nation in 2023. And I wanted to invite you onto the podcast. Your wash has seen some really tremendous membership growth, just over 23% year over year. So I wanted to dig in to get some tips, tricks, best practices, really kind of crack the egg on how you got all that growth this year, but also talk about just what you're seeing as a car wash professional out there in the industry. What we can attribute all this tremendous growth and record breaking sales to. But I want to start with a little bit of background on you, Bob. So why don't you start out by telling our audience a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from, and your history in car washing.
Sure. So, uh, God, I started out in this in 1994. Used to be a multiple shell mobile dealer, and all my sites had car washes. I had Ryko rollovers, Mark 7 rollovers, Bellinger short conveyorized tunnels, touch-free friction, and everything else. And in the beginning, it was everything was the free car wash for the gasoline volume.
Right.
And then as things progressed, we started to learn the revenue value in a quality car wash. So you go from the old Ryko rollover bristle to the foam, then the touch free, and then the short tunnels, and all of a sudden you're able to, in that industry, put out a quality product and service, but it's also a fantastic revenue generator. So it's a great margin in it. And then just through evolution, got out of that industry and went directly into the car wash industry. Used to be a Mark 7 distributor, and then went to work for them when they went factory direct, then did Blenco, and now I'm at DRB. But always had a wash. I've had my last site I've had for going on 24 years.
Wow, congrats.
Thanks.
Yeah, you've seen it all. You've been kind of at every level of the car wash industry, from the ground level to the corporate level. Really, you've seen it all, Bob.
Well, and there's a lot more to see because I mean, you got all this growth coming in it, and a big part of it is it's something that you can't duplicate on the internet or anything else. And face it, I mean, outside of a home, the next largest purchase of any individual is a vehicle.
Right. Right. Now it makes sense. And that's a big reason why, membership has been such an important thing that's come out in the car wash industry. People want to protect that investment, as best they can, and get the maximum value out of not just that investment, but also the membership program and the car wash that they're visiting. But we'll get to membership in a little bit. I guess tell us a little bit more about Purple Elephant Torrington. Tell us a little bit about your current wash, how it's set up, how you do business there, and what the past year has looked like for you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a site A. I share a entrance and exit with the restaurant. It's on an angle. You don't see it really from the street, so it's a tunnel with an in bay and three self serve bays. So I've been there for since 2000. I started leasing it, and then I purchased it, and then just through the evolution of just modernizing it, improving it. Do the free vacuums. Have all the LED lights, the G and G lighting, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
the biggest thing is just I think as the evolution of the car wash industry is going, is that it's it used to be. I got into it out of the gasoline business because it was one of those businesses where the pricing was in the back.
Yeah.
If your expenses went up, you could raise your prices. It wasn't like the gasoline business. But all of a sudden now, with the advent of membership and volume, and just, I mean, the cars have increased on the road and everything else. And let's face it, when your car's clean, it runs better. At the end of the
Absolutely.
day, when the car's clean, it runs better. And, you know, God, I remember when I was a kid, we used to wash in a driveway, but no one, everyone's busy.
Yeah.
And no one, and let's face it, we're all getting busier and we want things more automated, a lot less time to do our own labor. So it's just the way the industry's going. And then it's nice though, because you have the self-serve bays, which is one customer segment. You have the in-bay automatic, which is another customer segment. Then you have the tunnel, the express tunnel, which is another customer segment. And it's and what I've seen over the years is if you do a good execution, you offer the people the products and services, they will come. Like everything you can get in my express tunnel, you can get in the self-serve bay. I have 13 functions in the self-serve bay. So if you want ceramic, you got ceramic. You want hot wax, you got hot wax. It's just, I mean, you gotta focus on what it is. I mean, there's every driving motorist has their own way they want to protect their vehicle and clean their vehicle.
Well, and giving them all those different options, right? That
Mhm,
keeps people coming in for whatever they want on that specific day, maybe, right?
mhm.
You know, maybe they have some time, they want to take some time to do a thorough self-serve wash. Maybe they
Correct.
do want to just, get a hands-off service. They go in through
Yep,
the tunnel, right? And then
yep.
you have your members, folks who want to wash whenever they want, however they want. Kind of tell us about how you adopted membership, Bob, and what that process what that process looked like when you first started to kind of like where we're at today.
It's funny because my group, my social car wash group, and this goes years back, was we would socialize together, go to the meetings, do this, do that, and then you had the line drawn in the sand. Some people membership's way to go. Other guys are like, no way, you're losing money. So you're caught in that quagmire. And
Yeah.
I'm absentee, so I'm like, okay, so I get caught in the quagmire. So eventually it's like, you know what? It's time to change things up and get into the membership. The membership is, if you think you're just going to do membership and do business and make a lot of money, it's not the case. Membership is a whole new way of doing business. You got to be focused on it because every day you gain one, every day you lose one. But you got to be focused on just communicating that to your customer base, showing the value in it, and don't worry about if they come too many times, but that's
Right.
what you want.
Right.
Business breeds business. And then with that being said, it's the more activity on the site, the busier the site is. And then it's like you go into the convenience store. You don't want to have one package of Twinkies left on the shelf. No one's going to buy it. You want a lot of Twinkies. So
Right.
therefore, more cars is better. And also, too, when you do membership as an operator, you have to raise your game.
Hmm.
Just because you throw a sign up there that says membership, if you're not doing a quality job, if it doesn't look good, if it's not, you know, inviting, if you're not, greeting the customer, I mean, it's a whole new way of doing business. You got to be open. You
Yeah.
got to have the right guys, and you got to, you don't want a dirty place because people are coming there to get cleaned.
Right. You got to present clean if you're trying to
Yep.
sell, right?
Yep.
No,
Absolutely.
that's great. That's great. And obviously you're doing something right. Despite being a mature wash that has had membership for several years now, you had an incredible amount of growth in the past 12 months. I think we mentioned earlier 23.4% year-over-year growth on your membership program. What's been kind of the secret to that? I know you tried out some new promos that really worked. I mean, you even mentioned, you might not have the most ideal setup with your lot, sharing an entrance, but you're obviously doing something right to have that large increase. So, what can you speak to what you did at your site, but also just external factors that have led to record-breaking years across the entire industry?
Well, I think a big part of it is that I've seen because I talk to so many different people, so many operators in small chains, they react. They don't
Right.
plan. So what I did was I put a 2-year plan into place,
Hmm.
said these were the items of the 2-year plan. These were my markers. This is where I wanted to go. Um, and follow through that. So was action oriented, not reaction oriented. And you stick to the plan, and then 2 years out, did you hit your goals? Did you hit your budget? Did you do this, do that? And looking for growth wasn't, everyone wants super growth. What I was looking for is maintaining my base. So because you have your spikes. You got your spikes during winter, you got your spikes during pollen. but during the course of 12 months, how did your base grow? And staying consistent with that. And we've had, and look at during the past couple of years, the spikes in equipment, chemical, everything else. Everyone's reacting. I took a defensive stance to stick to my plan and to my program, and that's the way it was. And then 2 years into it, look at it, readjusted it, made adjustments on it, and then put another 2 years into place and go forward from there. And then, like, there's a group of us because we got the Purple Elephant, there's Torrington, Mary, it's all of us put together. So we combine as far as marketing and everything else. But my other guys, my other buddies are like they're doing a lot of different things, making adjustments constantly. But I'm a firm believer in steady, have a plan, be focused on it, and also too with your staff. If you keep changing it up too often, too many times, they lose focus.
Mhm.
So I try to do everything in a quarter. We're going to do this promotion in a quarter. We're going to do this one the following quarter. So 3 months into it, hopefully a couple weeks into it, they're comfortable with it. They'll grow with it, and then we change it up. We did the first month free. We've done a penny. We've done this. We've done that. A big thing is just to have something that's new or different for the people, the staff to communicate about.
Mhm.
But then we've done other things too. We've done, like, I did a summer school kickoff promotion. I raffled off an Apple laptop.
Right.
Just get it. Anyone who comes through, get a ticket. And just so taking different things that I used to do in the petroleum industry and applying to the car wash just to change it up because you want to get more people on the property outside of if they're just coming in for a wash. So we've done a couple different things like those, and they're more work than selling a membership
Right.
because we did it with the tumbler, the tickets. We get a name. I mean, really personalized. Um, but just changing it up, and then and I'm a firm believer in having more staff. Than not enough.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in you need to have a blended staff between guys and girls, females, males, just so and everyone crosses over.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a break, and just
Total sense.
yeah, and then just trying to make sure that everyone understands that not everyone's going to buy, but at
Right.
least talk to each customer, and they know
Right.
the customer so well too, and everything else.
Right. So I mean, it really sounds like you're using promos to help balance out those peaks and valleys, keep
Yep.
things as consistent as you can across the board, but you're changing those promos up to not cause fatigue from your staff so that
Yes.
they always have something new and exciting to present, which in turn is also something new and exciting to present to your customers who might
Hmm.
not feel, compelled to jump, at this type of promotion because it's sold this way. Maybe first month free isn't as enticing as first month and second month for the price of a single wash, right? It's essentially
Yep.
the same discount that they're getting, but you're presenting it in different, exciting, and new ways and getting community involvement too. Doing something like giving away a laptop, getting people to put their name in a tumbler and creating a fun game around it, right? It keeps it
Hmm.
fresh and exciting.
Oh, absolutely. The other thing too is that you're focused on membership, but you don't want to discourage a customer. You go to some places and they're like, "Geez, if you didn't buy a membership, they're so disappointed that it's like the employee has lost his incentive to communicate with the customer more." It's very simple. You just I mean, no one's perfect, and
Right.
employees have good days and bad days. Customers have good days and bad days. You just got to take the good with the bad and try to be like a 90% focused. No one's 110% all day long.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. What else have you seen this year? Like, obviously, we're in the Northeast. I know you're in New England. I'm in Philadelphia. Similar climates and similar weather patterns. This year, we had very very pollen heavy spring that has pretty much lasted up until the summer. We just had some rain in the past couple weeks here, but it's been a one heck of a weather season for car washing for both operators, for building membership programs, growing
Yep.
revenue, and for customers to come in and wash often and quite a bit. Has this been like kind of like the weirdest year you've seen, or can you recall any other years that have had this kind
Oh,
of like level of variables create this
well,
much
I
success?
I remember years when it just rained all year, all winter, and then pollen, and then pollen, and vice versa, and everything else. But I think one thing is, though, if you have a membership base,
Yeah.
especially when you're looking for those two highs, winter and pollen, the membership base all of a sudden will create more activity, even if the car's not completely dirty or
Mm.
if it needs to be done. And then it just, I also think too, membership breeds the conversation about washing your vehicle. It brings our industry into focus with the driving public, that yeah, get your car washed more. In other words, it's more on the forefront. Because I remember years ago, God, we used to compete against the driveway washers. How do we
Right.
get the people to stop washing in the driveway and come into a professional car wash? That was the biggest thing. And basically, what it is, well, hopefully, I think what it is communicating to that public that a professional car wash is where to do it. It's safe for the environment. It's safe for the vehicle. It's quick and easy. It's economical.
Right.
And it makes and your car runs better when it's clean.
Right. Of course. Plus, you just feel better, right? I mean, you feel
Absolutely.
better about
Yeah,
yourself when you're in a clean vehicle,
absolutely. That's
a
like with
clean
pollen. You,
environment.
you brush up against the pollen car, people be like, "Oh my god," you know, you gotta go
Yeah.
get washed. Everything's green. You know.
Absolutely. So kind of on the flip side of that, right? We've had such a great year, industry wide with the weather working out and membership and value working out. There's a lot of people that are afraid of economic downturn in the next year. Recession, right? Is that coming? How do you feel like the car wash industry is protecting itself from a potential recession? And I guess, how optimistic are you that following such a record-breaking year, how optimistic are you for next year's prospects as a small business owner?
I really look at the interest rate because membership is tied to credit cards. So with credit cards and the interest rate, and if people start to get tight, you know, your Amazon accounts, your Netflixes, your car wash memberships. If the credit cards start creeping up too much, that could pose a factor for us. Um, Also, too, the price of fuel, and are people going to get back out on the road? I mean, people are traveling. I mean, it is so busy. But now I think will happen is I think during COVID we had more people staying local, so the car washes did more because people were out cleaning their car, something to do. I think as more people travel, depending where they're going, it'll slow some of the volume down. But there's also, you got to look at the growth of cars on the road, the traffic volume, those type of things. What state are you in?
Hmm.
There's certain parts of the country that are going to boom no matter what, just because of
Right.
population, travel, vehicles, growth, all that stuff.
I guess it's one of the benefits of New England. You have a lot of New York commuters, a
Mhm,
lot of people going into
mhm,
those more populated areas, coming back home. So you kind of get a lot of that nice spillover. So that's
mhm,
that's that's an advantage of that part of the country for sure.
mhm. Oh, absolutely. And also too, I think the wildfires helped also too.
Right.
Believe it or not. I mean,
Yeah.
I was out golfing and it had a little rain, and it was all my white hat was dirty. I mean, I think that helped
Wild.
too. There's all different factors.
Yeah. Right. Right. It's been a perfect storm this year. In a lot of obviously the wildfires are tragic and environmental mess, but it did really work out, for car wash operators in the Northeast specifically in a lot of ways. It's
In the Midwest too, absolutely. Yeah, you can
right,
definitely see it and talk to different people. You
right,
can see the
right.
dirt. Yeah.
So Bob, kind of, in closing here, I wanted
Mhm.
to kind of open it up and have you kind of answer this question. What are some ways that wash operators can take advantage of the current positive trends in the industry to grow their business and take advantage of any potential revenue that's out there on the table before, any recession could possibly hit in the next, let's call it 12 to 24 months.
I think it's putting together a plan.
Right.
What your packages are, what your membership are, what are your goals and expectations? How have you done in the previous years? Where do you think you're going to fall? And making sure you stay relevant in your members' portfolio, in their focus. Not just getting new members, but letting the members know about the value of what they have with you as a member.
Right.
Communicating, and just if you can add something new, once every twice a year, whether it be a light or a foamer or just something different. You know what I mean? We do a lot of different things. Like, well, you want your employees to communicate with your customers, and it's hard. Everything's so fast. So I had signs made up, said thank you. They just hold them up. There's different things, but just they don't always do it. But if they do it here and there, you try. Trying to say thank you and that you appreciate the customer.
Just find different ways to relate to the people, right?
Yep.
Just get on their
Yep.
level, offer them something new, something exciting, and
Yep.
like you mentioned a little bit earlier, a new and exciting promotion. Throw that in there every now and again, and it'll keep
Mhm.
everything fresh.
Yeah. Remember, you're not, even though you're just a car wash, that's the main focus. You can always do something different than a car wash.
Right. Right. Any creative examples that you have aside from the laptop? Any other kind of ideas you can throw out there for our listeners?
You know what? I had beanies made up. I gave during the winter. I gave beanies away.
The swag, giving people away, the
Yeah,
brand
yeah.
new
Just, I mean,
swag. People,
it was a $5 beanie hat. But you know what? That you, if you look out there at the trends, it's summertime and the kids are wearing hats, beanie hats, winter hats, right? Give a few hats. I mean, it's just doing something a little different.
right, right.
Um,
The $5 that you spend on a hat, right? That could be
it's
hundreds
just
of dollars of recurring revenue if
well,
if you make that good impression on that day, right?
yeah, absolutely. So it's something a little different, a little unique. Like today, it's going to be 90 plus degrees out, humid. So we bought cases and cases of little 7-ounce water bottles,
Yeah.
not only for the staff, but we'll give it out to customers too. Hey, you want a water bottle here, there, whatever. And just a little something a little different.
Yeah, thinking out of the box, going a little bit above
Yep,
and beyond what you would typically see at a
yep,
car wash. That's great.
absolutely. Yeah,
Awesome.
because you want to make it more than a car wash. If it's just a car wash,
Right.
it's dull and boring.
Right. No, that's exactly right. You got to be part of the community. You got to be offering something.
Right.
So that's awesome, Bob. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for sharing some of these, tips, tricks, best practices. You've had one heck of a year at Purple Elephant, and hoping for many more awesome years to come for sure.
Absolutely. Anytime, Max. I look forward to seeing you at all the shows coming up too. And let's
Always,
stay in
always a
touch.
pleasure, man.
You got it,
Thanks
sir.
again, Bob. Talk to you again soon. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you.